episode 35. I'm Byron Lazine, Tim Bray. We are at Sava Insurance with Deb Kane, the VP of every decision made here at Sava. We're in Waterford, Connecticut, so Connecticut shoreline. We want to talk about, what do we want?
Flood
insurance. The
Yep.
big deal on the Connecticut shoreline. I think a lot of homeowners are going to have to lower the values of their home if they want to sell because of flood insurance. Tim disagrees with me.
Well, not necessarily lower. Here it comes down to the numbers, the front end and the back end ratios, and flood insurance. Having flood insurance, obviously, there's a cost.
There's a
so
cost.
that cost has to be factored into your ratios. And if somebody that could afford a $300,000 home or $400,000 home now can only afford a $300,000 home, that's going to kick some of the middle class out.
Yes,
So-
we're definitely seeing premiums that range anywhere from obviously $1,000 up to, I quoted one the other day, $18,000
For flood insurance?
for flood insurance.
So $18,000. What can I get?
That's going to break a deal breaker for middle class, for obviously somebody who's not in the position to be paying $18,000.
Do you remember what the taxes were on that home? Or do you not know?
I do not know.
No.
But what? Let's say
They were
18.
probably
It
over
was-
10, I mean, at least.
Is there what's
It
flood
was a
insurance?
coastal property. It was in Groton.
Okay.
It was like a $400,000 house, so it wasn't like $1 million house where taxes were going to be crazy.
Okay.
So what's that $18,000 policy get you? Are there any maxes? Are there any?
Flood insurance is a standard policy, actual cash value, $250,000 on the building. Personal property can get up to $100,000. Depending on the bank, you can. They may require, and if the person, obviously the client requires or is interested in getting higher levels, you can purchase excess flood insurance to meet whatever the limits are. I've had some banks come back and say, the loan is $1 million, we want $1 million. Your
The
premium-
bank's saying that.
The bank.
Right, because it's their. It's if they should fold that bank, it's their asset. So
Well, just think of a $400,000 house paying $18,000 a year in flood insurance. 5 years into it, you're at a quarter of the value of the entire house just in flood insurance. You know, you're already into it for close to $100,000.
so now you're kicking the middle class.
90,000.
Now you're kicking the middle class out.
You are.
And you're seeing that the people that have money and the upper class are the ones that are going to be able to afford these homes and not pay flood insurance.
Right, but I know that the saying, there's only so much waterfront property to go around, but guess what? There's only so much of the upper class to buy up these waterfront homes. So if this part of Connecticut, people aren't buying the waterfront homes, the prices have to come down.
You're just saying supply and demand.
Supply and demand. They're going to have to come down.
But what's happening too is flood insurance also factors in with rivers. So you're getting a lot of, it may not be a coastal property.
Interesting.
It could be just a normal middle class neighborhood. You're looking at $2,200. I
That-
had one the other day next to Niantic River, $2,200 for a 900 square foot ranch.
So you're saying some they previously maybe they were not in a flood zone.
Correct. With all the remapping, a lot of things have been changing.
And let's just use this as an example. So maybe you've had somebody, let's say it's two teachers, they've retired, they're used to they've got a retirement. Sorry, I didn't mean to spit in your eye.
That's okay.
Did you?
A little. I just saw
think so.
something
Where's
fly.
Shield though?
But now all of a sudden they're hit with this yearly fee that they didn't expect, and they may have to move now.
Or what we're seeing a lot of too is somebody who may not have a mortgage. They may not wanted to have paid $15,000, $4,000, $2,000 in flood insurance, and then the new owner. An example might be you have somebody down in Bluff Point. They're retired. They decide to pick up and move to Florida. No mortgage, no flood insurance. That new owner, they're gonna get jammed up selling the property.
That's right.
Yeah. Now, I was just at a property yesterday, right on the water, direct waterfront.
Houseboat.
Nope, this is a real house, real deal. So they went through Sandy, they went through Irene, no mortgage. So when Sandy came by, they got a lot of damage. If they had flood insurance, all that would have been covered is the furnace.
Not true.
This is what they were telling me. Now, I don't know if this is true or not, because we got the expert here. They said all that would have been covered is the furnace, so...
I think they're feeling bad about it.
We're lucky we didn't have the flood insurance.
Lots of things factor into what would be covered. The type of house, the type of basement, crawl space,
If the basement's
elevation.
like below the elevation of the water.
Yep, if they have a full basement, walkout basement.
So they have a walkout, but it's definitely, you know, below the elevation of the water, in my guesstimate. My professional guesstimate, below sea level.
Depending on the coverage, contents coverage probably wouldn't be afforded for that. So the building structure itself, that's probably accurate. Depending on, again, obviously if they went up to the first floor or the second floor, things could have changed. But if it's just the basement,
Just the basement. So you're not going to get the seawall replaced.
well, that's, again,
It depends.
It depends.
Okay.
I had a guy out in Old Lyme who they did pay from, I think it was Sandy, and his whole seawall, it actually wasn't the seawall, it was his, he's right on, in Old Lyme, he's right on the ocean.
yeah.
He's right there.
Is he on the river or
on the sound?
Ocean,
Sound?
sound.
Okay,
He's
cool.
there. And it took out his patio walling almost. So that was covered, but the seawall per se, probably not.
Probably not. Okay.
But again,
But if you have
So
a
was it-
mortgage,
factor
you
in.
don't have that option. If you have a mortgage, you have to go get the flood insurance.
Yeah, but is all water? Is it like is it a storm versus just
it's any type of flooding as far as an inundated amount of water. It's got to be 2 or more houses and usually like a 2-acre area.
Okay, so if you have like 10 houses in a row and only one of them gets flooded,
Might be something
you're SOL?
Might be something
What's that stand
that
for?
wouldn't be covered.
I don't know. SNL stands for Saturday Night Live. What does SOL stand?
soul, sun?
Sold without the D. Sold, baby. It's going to be tough to sell these waterfront properties. It's going to get tougher and tougher.
It
It's
is.
going to be very tough for you.
And in
Unless you're working with a really good agent.
Well,
Ding.
and that's the that's the thing that's tough with flood insurance is because we're a coastal agency. I mean, every town that we deal with is pretty much coastal. We do our best to keep up with all the crazy changes and what you can do, can't do. And flood insurance is actually mandated by the government through FEMA. And they pop in a lot of changes along the ways of what you can do and can't do. There's been a lot of changes where you can grandfather policies,
Right.
where you can take that person's policy and grandfather that zone that they're in. Since there has been so much remapping, they could have been in an X zone, which is a lower premium, maybe $450 for the year, and then carry it over to the new zone, which could be now an AE or
VE.
VE, and you're looking at a much higher premium. Well, you can't grandfather it, you can grandfather it, you can't. Now we can.
okay.
Now we can.
So, yes.
Now, is that like the new changes that just happened this week? Because I know there was some new
No,
stuff
this one's
happening.
been, it
This one
changed a
always
little
been
while
going on.
back, yeah. And I'm gonna have to read up on those new changes that you're
'Cause they're
talking
so
about,
fresh.
because I haven't come across those, and I did a lot of reading these past weeks.
Yeah.
So I haven't seen anything new coming down, besides,
Okay.
what you might be thinking of is, they're coming out where now they're gonna surcharge a policy. If it's not your primary residence, you're gonna get hit $250 additional.
Just
Just because.
Just because it's not your primary
Does that
residence.
go in your pocket, Debbie? Or do you got to split that with
Hey,
Mama?
this look, I gotta pay. It's expensive to pay for this stuff. No, unfortunately,
You don't
it's
get any of
not.
that?
Nope.
Not $1?
No, it goes. I mean, it's commission to the policy. We do get, so it's
Yeah.
increasing that commission of the policy, but it's basically an extra $250 if it's a secondary, a rental.
Wow.
So that's new. So I'm wondering if
Which-
that could be some of your
How many
changes.
secondary
Oh
homes
my
are
gosh.
around the Connecticut shoreline?
It's crazy.
Every policy that we write right now, we have to prove they have to
They're
send us
living
their, we have to
Primary
either
or
send
secondary.
up their auto policy, their copy of their driver's license. So you have to prove that you're there at least 80%
That's why
of
it
the time.
makes sense to keep all your insurance in one place. If it's flood, homeowners, auto,
Wrap it.
all within the same.
And you'd be
umbrella.
surprised, where I was going earlier was the fact that not everybody is up to date with flood insurance or changes that are going on. I had one not too long ago where one agent was telling me it was gonna be like $5,000. And it ended up being when you could grandfather it, and it was like
Awesome.
a $400, $500 premium.
Okay.
When one of the realtors said, no, it doesn't sound right, call Debbie at Sava.
And that's what
we
I
took a look
recommend.
at
I
it.
mean,
Oh, yeah.
this isn't our thing.
Yeah.
You know, so we always
Not my
refer
area.
to you, and that's what we've got to say. I think everybody, she's a resource, kind of like we like to be the resource on the real estate side.
Yeah.
Debbie's the resource, and I have to say, you guys have been honored for a couple of things recently, which is kind of neat. And one of those is, I believe,
They're
is
dominating the Connecticut shoreline, Sava.
but they need your help. They need our help too, because with the
We
day,
need some votes.
I think they need votes.
Sava actually cares more than the competition. What's the day.com best
It's
of?
actually the best of the
The best
day.
of
So
the day.
the readers nominated us. and
So-
obviously clients.
So if you're local or if you're not local, jump on this website, theday.com/best of. Go to the services tab, and Sava is under insurance companies. Like I said, they are dominating this marketplace. Well, remember when I first met you, I called like...
Is member a word?
Member? When I first met Debbie, I called about 20 of my closest friends and say, hey, you guys got to call Debbie and get a quote. Like 19 of them said, yeah, we're already using her, dummy. She's the best in the area. So that just goes to show you.
That is true.
So where do you want to be found personally?
You can find me obviously here at Sava at dkane@savainsurance.com.
Okay.
I am on, obviously Sava has a Facebook.
Sava
I have a
Insurance Facebook.
You can get me on Twitter. Don't really follow it that much. I'm with Tim.
On there? All right.
I'm on there. But that's at DebKane28.
Cool. Tim, where do you want to be found?
I'm right here at Sava
Right here.
Insurance.
Right here
I'm
at
gonna be, this is
Sava
where I'm going to be on every Friday at
Insurance.
lunch.
Every Friday at lunch you're invited and you're welcome.
Really? You guys do lunch every Friday?
Sure, yeah.
I can't make it today. Find me on Instagram at Byron Lazine. Thank you so much for having
you.
us. Sava Insurance. Can you guys go outside of Connecticut?
We're licensed in Connecticut and Rhode Island.
Connecticut and Rhode Island. Give them a call. What's the number here?
860-437-7282.
7282. Hit them up. Get your insurance tight and get it right.
Wow.
Peace.
Nice.
You like that? We're going to do our best.
Definitely lots of changes with flood insurance.
We're going to try to...
I'm going to switch it up. Instead of talking about flood today, I want to talk about farm animals and whether or not I can get insurance. So if I have...
Don't pay attention to
Not
this
here.
guy.
Call Farm Family.
If I have a beloved sheep named Mercy, and can I get insurance for her?
As much as I love sheeps, no, not with us.
Not sheeps, just one.
Oh, just one.
Don't make me go to State Farm. I will do it.
No, it would be Geico. You got to go to Geico.
For
I don't
sheep?
know.
They're not going to take them?
All right.
We
Just to
represent
loosen
a
you
lot
up,
of
I want to
companies,
loosen you up
but
a
I
little
don't
bit.
know what they actually insure.
Where'd you get those, Charles?
Dr. Box, I got them for the kids too.
Oh,
They're great.
God.
Now you're good? We're all loosened
Yeah,
up?
we're good.
I scared her a little bit, I think.